For years, everyone believed one simple lie. A lie so carefully constructed, so meticulously planned, that it nearly became the official truth. But there was one thing they never accounted for. One piece of evidence. One video. Sitting on a phone for 7 years. And the moment that video surfaced, everything fell apart. This is not just another cold case. This is the story of a murder disguised as an accident. A loving wife who vanished. A husband who played the grieving widower better than any actor in Hollywood. And a truth so dark, it took nearly a decade to crawl out from the shadows. This case begins in a quiet, picturesque town in Colorado. The kind of place where people leave their doors unlocked. Where neighbors wave as they collect their morning paper. Where crime is something that happens somewhere else. But in the fall of 2014, something evil crept into that town, and it wore a wedding ring. Her name was Lauren Whitfield, 32 years old, a nurse at the local hospital, described by her co-workers as the kindest soul you could ever meet. Patients requested her by name. She remembered their birthdays. She held their hands during their final moments. She was the human embodiment of compassion. And she was hopelessly in love with her high school sweetheart, David Whitfield. David was charming. The kind of man who could walk into a room and instantly become everyone's best friend. A successful real estate agent with $1 million smile. He drove a black Audi. He wore tailored suits. He posted constantly on social media about how much he adored his wife. #blessed, #myeverything, #soulmate. To the outside world, they were the perfect couple. But perfection is a mask. And behind that mask, something was rotting. Lauren's closest friend, Jenna, later told investigators that things had changed in the months before Lauren disappeared. Lauren had become quieter. She stopped showing up to their weekly coffee dates. She started wearing long sleeves in the middle of summer. One time, Jenna noticed a bruise on Lauren's forearm. When she asked about it, Lauren laughed it off. Said she tripped on the stairs. Jenna didn't push. She wishes every single day that she had. David was not the man he appeared to be. Behind closed doors, he was controlling, obsessive, violent. He monitored Lauren's phone. He isolated her from her family. He convinced her that she was worthless without him. And when she finally found the courage to tell him she wanted a divorce, something inside David snapped. The 12th of November 2014, a date that will forever haunt this story. David called 911 at 9:47 p.m. His voice was frantic, shaking. He told the dispatcher that his wife had gone for a hike earlier that afternoon and never returned. He said she loved hiking alone in the mountains. It was her way of clearing her head. He had begged her not to go because it was getting dark, but she insisted. And now, she was gone. Search teams scoured the mountain trails for 3 days. Helicopters, K-9 units, dozens of volunteers. Nothing. No footprints, no torn clothing, no sign of struggle. It was as if Lauren Whitfield had simply evaporated into thin air. David stood at every press conference, his eyes red from crying, his voice cracking. He held Lauren's photo against his chest. He pleaded with the public, "Please, just bring my wife home. I can't live without her. I can't breathe without her." The media ate it up. America fell in love with the heartbroken husband. Donations poured into the Find Lauren Fund. Over $60,000 in 2 weeks. But there was one detective who wasn't buying it. Detective Marcus Cole had been with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for 22 years. He had seen it all. Husbands who cried too much. Husbands who cried too little. And husbands who cried just right. David Whitfield fell into that third category. His grief was perfect, too perfect, rehearsed. Detective Cole started digging, and the deeper he dug, the more the picture began to shift. First, the timeline didn't add up. David claimed he was at an open house from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the day Lauren disappeared. But cell tower data placed his phone near the mountain trailhead at 3:15 p.m. Second, the financial motive. Lauren had a life insurance policy worth $1.2 million. David was the sole beneficiary. And just 3 weeks before she vanished, David had increased the coverage from $500,000. He told the insurance agent it was for peace of mind. Third, the mistress. There was another woman, a 24-year-old Pilates instructor named Chloe. David had been seeing her for over a year. They had taken trips together. He told her he was going to leave Lauren. He told her they would be together soon. The circumstantial evidence was piling up. But circumstantial evidence is not proof. And without a body, the district attorney refused to press charges. David walked free, month after month, year after year. He moved Chloe into the house Lauren had decorated. He bought a new boat. He posted vacation photos on Instagram, cocktails on the beach, sunsets, captions about new beginnings. The public started to forget about Lauren Whitfield. But Detective Cole never forgot. He kept the case file on his desk. Every morning he stared at Lauren's photograph. He made a silent promise to her. I will find the truth, no matter how long it takes. 7 years passed. And then, in the spring of 2021, a 17-year-old boy walked into the police station carrying an old smartphone. His name was Tyler. He said he had been hiking in the mountains with his friends the previous weekend. They were exploring a ravine off the main trail, the kind of place nobody goes, the kind of place where secrets are buried. Tyler spotted something glinting in the dirt. He climbed down and found a phone wedged between two rocks. It was damaged, battered by years of rain and snow, but something told him not to ignore it. He took it home. He cleaned it. He charged it using an old cable his mom had lying around. And to his absolute shock, the phone turned on. Tyler started scrolling through the contents. Photos, messages, everything frozen in time from the 12th of November 2014. The last video recorded on that phone was timestamped at 3:47 p.m. The exact afternoon Lauren Whitfield disappeared. Tyler played the video. His hands started trembling. He immediately called his mother, and his mother immediately called the police. Detective Cole was sitting at his desk when a young officer handed him the phone. He put on a pair of latex gloves. He pressed play. The video begins with shaky footage. The camera is pointed at the ground. Leaves. Rocks. The sound of heavy breathing. Then, a woman's voice. It is Lauren. She is whispering. She is terrified. She says, "If you're watching this, something has happened to me. My husband David has been threatening me for months. He said if I ever tried to leave, he would make sure no one ever found me. I'm recording this because I need someone to know the truth. I'm scared. I think he might actually kill me." The camera lifts. For a split second, you see Lauren's face. Her eyes are wide with fear. She is looking over her shoulder. The path behind her is empty. But then, in the distance, barely visible between the trees, a figure appears. A man, walking quickly, purposefully. His face is not clear, but his build matches David Whitfield. The same stride, the same posture, the same dark jacket David was seen wearing in a gas station security footage earlier that afternoon. Lauren gasps. The camera drops. The audio becomes muffled. And then, a male voice, distant but unmistakable. Lauren. Just that one word. But Detective Cole had listened to hours of David Whitfield's interrogations. He knew that voice, the cadence, the tone. It was David. There was no doubt. The video continues for 30 more seconds. The screen is black because the phone is pressed against the ground, but the audio captures the nightmare. A scuffle. Lauren screaming. David shouting. The words are indistinct, but the rage is unmistakable. A thud. A sickening, heavy thud. And then silence. The video ends. Detective Cole sat in silence for a full minute. His hands were shaking. After 7 years, the truth had finally crawled out of the dirt. Lauren had documented her own murder. She had left behind a time capsule of terror. Within 24 hours, David Whitfield was arrested at his home. Chloe, the Pilates instructor, answered the door. She had no idea who Lauren was. She had believed David's story, completely. He had told her his first wife died of cancer. She stood on the front lawn, barefoot, watching the man she loved being led away in handcuffs. Her face was pale. Her expression was hollow. The trial lasted 4 weeks. David's defense team argued that the video was inconclusive. They claimed the voice was too muffled to identify. They suggested Lauren had been attacked by a stranger. They painted David as a victim of a witch hunt. But the jury did not agree. The video was played in court. The jurors watched Lauren's terrified face. They listened to her desperate whispers. They heard her husband's voice moments before her death. 12 people. Unanimous decision. David Whitfield was found guilty of first-degree murder. He will spend the rest of his life in a prison cell. No more tailored suits. No more Instagram sunsets. No more freedom. But the story does not end there. After the trial, Detective Cole returned to the ravine where Lauren's phone was found. He spent 3 more days searching with a full forensic team, and buried just 60 feet from where the phone was discovered, they unearthed human remains. Lauren Whitfield had finally been found. She was wrapped in a blue tarp, the same brand of tarp that David had purchased from a hardware store 2 days before she vanished. Receipts don't lie. Evidence doesn't forget. The truth waits. Here is the haunting question that lingers long after this case is closed. How many other victims are buried in the mountains? How many other phones are waiting to be discovered? How many other killers are sleeping soundly tonight, believing they committed the perfect crime? Lauren's video was 7 years old. But technology is advancing faster than ever. Law enforcement agencies around the country are reopening cold cases. They are revisiting old evidence. They are asking the public to come forward. Because sometimes, the difference between justice and injustice is just one person paying attention. Maybe that person is you. If this story gripped you, imagine how many more are waiting to be told. Cases where the guilty still walk free. Cases where one tiny piece of evidence could shatter everything. Give this video a like if you believe in justice, no matter how long it takes. Subscribe to the channel because we are just getting started. There are so many stories like Lauren's that need to be heard. And drop a comment below. What would you have done if you found that phone on that hiking trail? Would you have looked away? Or would you have done what Tyler did? The perfect crime is a myth. Evidence has a way of surviving. Truth has a way of rising. And as long as there are people who refuse to give up, no monster gets to rest easy. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and never stop asking questions.